Staf was welcomed home by Marie, little Sebastian, and his parents. The moment he stepped through the door, they embraced him tightly. Marie immediately asked how the Indianapolis 500 had gone. Staf only smiled. "I'll tell you everything once I've settled in," he said. Throughout the journey home, he had struggled to contain his excitement. Once inside, he unpacked his belongings, then headed straight for the kitchen in search of something to drink. After all, there was reason to celebrate. He returned with a bottle of cheap champagne, pouring glasses for Marie, his parents, and himself. Then came the news. Staf had won the Indianapolis 500, convincingly, by 4 laps. The room erupted in disbelief and joy as he recounted the race. The difficult start, the overtakes, the long hours controlling the pace. But amidst the celebration, Marie suddenly noticed the bruises and scratches still visible on her husband. Her smile faded. She asked where they had come from. For a brief moment, Staf considered avoiding the truth. But he chose honesty. He told them about the crash in Switzerland, about the tree, about how close it had all come to ending badly. Silence filled the room. Worry spread across every face at the table. But Staf reassured them. He was alive. He was all right. Slowly, relief replaced fear. And then Staf revealed one more piece of news. He was leading the World Championship. Once again, the room exploded with congratulations and celebration. For one evening at least, the danger and uncertainty of racing faded into the background. Later that night, Staf spent quiet time with Marie while Sebastian stayed with his grandparents. Before long, however, another race weekend arrived. The Belgian Grand Prix. At Spa-Francorchamps, the memories of the previous year still lingered. In 1950, Staf's race had ended in heartbreak when his engine failed. This time, he hoped the Talbot Lager would finally survive the full distance. As he looked around the paddock, one detail continued to stand out. Prince Bira was still absent. Curious, Staf finally asked Johnny Klaas about it. The team principal explained that the reigning world champion would only return for the Spanish Grand Prix later in the year. Which meant one thing. The 1951 season would crown a new world champion. And now, I'll take you to the free practice results for the Belgian Grand Prix of 1951. Staf Vermeulen sends the Belgian crowd into rapture by taking P1 in the practice session of the 1951 Belgian Grand Prix. In second place we have Juan Manuel Fangio and Gonzalez takes P3. Fourth place is for Alberto Ascari and Paco Goya takes P5. Then we have Terrufi, Farina, Whitehead, Villoresi, Sanesi, Parnell, Gordini, De Graffenried, Bajoli. And here we have the second part of the practice session. We have in P15 Felice Bonetto. Then we have Louis Rosier, Fischer, Étancelin, Chiron, Levesque, Chabot, Schell, Pilet, another Belgian driver, Cabantou, André Simon, Brian Shaw Taylor, Gerard, and Frank Roll. And in the third part of the free practice session, we have Peter Walker in P29, then we have Guy Meres, then Robert Manzon, and the final and third Belgian driver Jacques Swatter takes the final spot in the free practice session. We are now in qualifying. Staf Vermeulen is at the La Source hairpin and he is barreling down towards the start-finish line in order to start his one and only qualifying lap. He has discussed this with his team principal Johnny Klaas that they would only attempt a single qualifying lap because of the pace Staf has shown in the first practice session or in the only free practice session that the Belgian Grand Prix has this year. He went through Eau Rouge and Rédillon without any issues and now he's barreling down to the first right-hand kink and towards the first braking zone of the circuit, of the track. There it is. He goes into third gear and takes the corner at around 140 kilometers an hour on average, carrying enough speed so that he has a higher top speed come the end of a certain corner when he has to lift off later on the track. Now he has his foot planted on the pedal. He wants to go as fast as possible. Remember the modifications he has done to his Talbot Lago T26DA this year, again with some gearing modifications, so that he has a higher top speed in order to get better lap times. Here we have the first kind of chicane in which Staf has to lift a little in order to get the car turned, or else he would experience understeer. This year's car is very understeery and Staf does not know really how to combat it or how to set up the car properly, but he has managed to do so with the help of his engineers who know the car a little better. Yes, Staf is a mechanic and he has worked on cars before, but he has never worked on F1 cars, on Formula 1 cars before. Yes, it is true that he has worked on this car last year, but not in such detail. And now he barrels down again, pedal to the metal, getting the highest top speed the Talbot Lago has ever witnessed, bar the Indianapolis 500 of 2 weeks ago. Here we have a right-hander in which Staf will have to lift, or else he would understeer into the walls. He loses a lot of speed, but it is all in the game plan. Now we can go fast again in order to get the best lap time he will ever have for this Grand Prix. Last year's pre-practice time was slower. He was around 5-ish seconds slower than this year in free practice. I do not remember what his qualifying time was last year, but I do know that he will get a faster time this year, because he needs it. He wants to please the Belgian crowd. It is a home Grand Prix for Staf Vermeulen, so he wants to do his best. He wants to send the crowd into rapture. Will he do that? I do not know. We will only know after he crosses the start-finish line. Here we are at Blanchimont, another lift. He has not gained the 230 kilometers an hour that he had before. This seems to be all uphill, so the car does not accelerate or gain speed as easily as before. We are coming to the heaviest braking zone of the track, the La Source hairpin. Staf shifts down to second gear, loses control a little bit, but manages to keep out of the walls, and now he barrels down to the start-finish line. He must have lost a second at least, and his time will be a 4 minutes, 4 seconds, .067. This is his pole position for Staf Vermeulen. And here we have Staf Vermeulen at a second flying lap. He tried to improve, but he misjudges the braking, slides into the La Source hairpin, tries to avoid a spin, manages to do so, but that means his lap will be abandoned, and yes, he will peel into the pits. Will he have gained pole position with his first and only flying lap? And these are the qualifying results for a 1951 Belgian Grand Prix. It is Staf Vermeulen who takes pole position at his home Grand Prix. In second place we have Reg Parnell in his GA Vandervelde. Then we have Alberto Ascari, the first Ferrari, and Rudy Fischer is in fourth place with Écurie Espadon. Then we have in fifth place Peter Whitehead, then Piero Taruffi, Gonzalez is in seventh, and Villoresi is in eighth. In P9 we have Juan Manuel Fangio, and Luigi Fagioli rounds up the top 10. In 11th we have Consalvo Sanesi, then in P12 we have Bonetto, then we have Farina, De Graffenried, Franco Roll, Paco Godia, Cabantu in P17, Gordini in P18, Louis Chiron takes P19, and in 20th place we have Philippe Étancelin. Then we have Harry Schell, Louis Rosier, Eugène Chabot, André Pillet, another Belgian driver. Then we have Peter Walker, then Guy Mérès, Brian Shaw-Taylor, Pierre Levesque, Bob Gerard, André Simon, then Robert Manzon, and then in P32, last, we have Jacques Swaders, another Belgian pilot. Here we are at the start of the 1951 Belgian Grand Prix. The engines of the cars are revving. Staf is moving a little ahead. Will he get penalized? They are go, go, go. But Staf doesn't get a good getaway and he gets hit by, I don't know who, but he gets hit by an Alfa Romeo, I think. And now they are barreling down towards Eau Rouge, Rédillon. Here they go through the complex. There is chaos behind, there is chaos in front, and Staf Vermeulen clips Juan Manuel Fangio, and he has been turned around. Look at the chaos, look at all the cars flying. This means that a lot of cars will probably retire. Will Staf keep going? Yes, he manages to turn the car around. This has not been the best of starts for Staf Vermeulen. He is in P20, P19 now. P18. Will this be the start of a comeback drive for Staf Vermeulen? In front of him, we have André Pillet, the other Belgian pilot, the third Belgian pilot in the race. He gets overtaken, Staf Vermeulen, by Peter Walker. Into the left-hand complex they go. Will Staf Vermeulen come back? Will he get into the points? Is this the start of a comeback drive? Only time will tell. Staf shifts up into fourth gear and is chasing Peter Walker, and he is gaining on him. And the overspeed is real, and without an issue, Staf Vermeulen takes Peter Walker and is already creating a massive gap in front of him. André Pillet, the other Belgian driver. Will the Belgian driver help him? Work against him? We don't know. Will Staf Vermeulen overtake his compatriot? We don't know. He brakes because he doesn't want to have any issues. André Pillet has an issue. And here we have all the blue cars, the Gordinis, and Staf Vermeulen takes all of them. And he is now P13. Louis Chiron behind him. There are a lot of cars in front of him. Here we have Staf Vermeulen passing through now. He has Philippe Étancelin in front of him, around 3.5 seconds ahead. But the Talbot Lago, although aging, is being outdriven once again by Staf Vermeulen, the runner-up from last year's championship. There is Philippe Étancelin in front. Only a second separates them. Will Staf Vermeulen take P12? Will he take P12? Yes, and he splits the two cars in two. He has overtaken Harry Schell. He is P11, not P12. He is P11. Then we have all the red cars, the Italian cars in front of him, the Alfas, the Ferraris. Will Staf Vermeulen be able to take the fight to them? It is a long lap indeed, ladies and gentlemen. A long lap indeed. They are coming up to Blanchimont. There you see Staf Vermeulen in the background. And he goes through the left-hander. Then the first right-hander, which is not Blanchimont. Now, Staf knows that his car is still a bit understeer, so in order to make the corner, he has to lift off a little in order to make the turn. And there we have Paco Godia in front of him, 2 seconds separates them. But the Talbot Lago is gaining on him quite quickly indeed. Now only a second separates Staf Vermeulen and Paco Godia, the Spanish driver. Will Vermeulen take P10? Will he go into the top 10? To Blanchimont they go. Staf lifts off in order to make the corner. Now this one is flat out. Now it's the final stretch to La Source, the hairpin. Will he make his move before that, or during the braking zone. No, Staf Vermeulen makes his move into the left-hander. And there we have him. Paco Godia makes a mistake, as you saw. And this is La Source, hairpin. Staf Vermeulen has to correct a little, and now he goes to the start-finish line. And this was the first lap of the 1951 Belgian Grand Prix. What a first lap this has been. As Staf starts now lap 2 of the 1951 Belgian Grand Prix, we have confirmation that Juan Manuel Fangio has retired because of Staf. And now we are looking at a replay of Gonçalves Sanesi. At the start, he slips, crashes into the barrier, and tries to get back onto the road, but crashes heavily into Levesque, meaning that both Levesque and Sanesi have to retire. Here we have a replay of Tulo de Gravenriet on lap 1. He slides, goes over the barrier. What a crash this is. It's a massive crash. I hope the driver is okay, but the car is definitely not. Tulo de Gravenriet retires from the Grand Prix. We are now later in lap 2. Staf Vermeulen is chasing down Piero Taruffi in P9. We are at the Malmedy chicane, the left-right chicane. People make mistakes up front, and Staf Vermeulen slows down and manages to take Villoresi, Taruffi and Fischer for P7. This is the start of a comeback drive, I believe, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks to a mistake by his competitors, Staf Vermeulen has managed to gain P7. 3 overtakes in 1 corner. We are following Bob Gerard on lap 3. This is a replay of him going to La Source, but his engine is blown. His engine has gone. This means that Bob Gerard has to retire from the race. Still on lap 3, Staf Vermeulen is chasing down Nino Farina. He has the overspeed after the Mazda King, and Vermeulen pulls alongside Farina, and he makes the move stick right before Stavelo. And now it is Luigi Fagioli that is in Staf Vermeulen's sights. Staf Vermeulen is now P6. What an overtake. Will he be able to get Luigi Fagioli? Fagioli is so close. I take you now to lap 4. Staf Vermeulen is still chasing down Luigi Fagioli. We are at the Malmedy chicane. In front of him, Fagioli makes a mistake, and that allows Vermeulen to close up the gap. They are side by side, and Vermeulen takes P5 from Luigi Fagioli. And now it is Peter Whitehead in front of him. You saw in his review, in Staf's rear view mirror, that Fagioli has crashed. We will see a replay of that shortly, but now Vermeulen is taking down Whitehead, and Staf Vermeulen is now P4 after having overtaken Peter Whitehead. They are coming up to the Mazda King. Will Vermeulen keep his spot, or will Whitehead be able to overtake Vermeulen once again? No, it seems that Vermeulen will keep his P4 spot. Here we have the replay with the incident with Luigi Fagioli. He makes a mistake at the Malmedy chicane, and there we have Staf Vermeulen overtaking Fagioli. Fagioli loses control, crashes into the barrier, and flips his car. And his car has been damaged, and he has to retire. We are now on lap 5, following Farina after the Eau Rouge complex. He crashes heavily into Peter Whitehead, who has made a mistake. Farina's car is damaged and has to retire. Whitehead can keep going. On lap 6, Staf Vermeulen is chasing down Gonzalez. They are going up to the Mazda chicane, the Mazda King. Less than half a second separates the two competitors. Will Staf Vermeulen be able to overtake Gonzalez, the Argentinian driver? Yes, the Talbot Lager pulls us alongside, and he overtakes Gonzalez for P3. Staf Vermeulen is in the podium positions. Now they are racing up to Stavelo. Will Vermeulen keep his podium position? Will Gonzalez fall back? It seems so. Vermeulen has to lift off in order to cool the engine, but it seems that Gonzalez will keep falling back all the way. They are now at Blanchimont. Staf Vermeulen has a 1.5 or 1.7 gap to Gonzalez, but he has to lift off in order to make the corners stick. That means that Gonzalez has closed the gap to 1 second. The Talbot Lago doesn't seem to be pulling his weight up the hills. They are coming to La Source. Gonzalez is so close. Vermeulen brakes heavily, and Gonzalez goes through on the inside. Vermeulen runs wide, and Vermeulen has lost his podium position. It is Gonzalez who has taken P3 once again. The chase is back on. Will Vermeulen take the spot back? They go through Rédion and Eau Rouge. Gonzalez has a 2-second gap, but it seems like he has made a mistake. And Vermeulen, with his Talbot Lago, is chasing down the Argentinian pilot. Will he be able to overtake him at Les Combes? Yes or no? No, it seems like Gonzalez is too far back. But that doesn't mean that Staf will give up. He will chase down the Argentinian driver and make sure that his fans, the adoring Belgian fans, will have something to celebrate. A Belgian podium, that is. On lap 7, Staf Vermeulen is closing down the gap to Gonzalez. They are coming up to the Malmedy chicane. What will Vermeulen do? He takes it easy, makes sure that he gets the speed. Gonzalez makes a mistake, and that is P3 for Staf Vermeulen. And now Vermeulen is trying to build the gap. It's already a second. Will Gonzalez fall back? We know that the Talbot Lago is good now, that the modifications that Vermeulen has made are worthy. And yes, it seems that Gonzalez is falling back. The Talbot Lago is just too fast for the Argentinian driver and his car. And now he has to chase down Staf Vermeulen, that is, Staf Vermeulen has to chase down Reg Parnell. We are following Gonzalez on lap 8. He goes through the Rédion Eau Rouge complex, chasing down the Belgian car, the yellow car of Vermeulen. But Gonzalez loses control and crashes into the cars that are already stalled there, and he also stalls his engine. Gonzalez retires. On lap 8, Staf Vermeulen is chasing down Reg Parnell. There is a lapped car in front, and he seems to have made a mistake, that lapped car. Yellow flags are out. The car goes to left. Staf has to take avoiding measures in order to avoid crashing himself. And now the chase for Reg Parnell continues. On lap 9, Staf Vermeulen laps a green car. He has Reg Parnell in his sights. The gap has become 1 second. They are going up to the Mazda King. Vermeulen is closing down on Reg Parnell. Will he be able to overtake the British driver, the British Formula 1 pilot? They are at the Mazda King. You saw Alberto Ascari briefly. Staf Vermeulen is smart, lifts off in order to not crash, and now he has the slipstream of Reg Parnell's car. He pulls alongside the British car and overtakes Reg Parnell without any issues. And now they are going up to Stavelot. You can see Alberto Ascari into Stavelot, and the chase for Alberto Ascari for the lead, ladies and gentlemen, for the lead is on. Vermeulen is now P2. We are at La Source on lap 9, the final corner of the 9th lap of the 1951 Belgian Grand Prix. Reg Parnell has closed the gap to Staf Vermeulen. They are excellent brakers, but the Talbot Lago is faster actually. They are going up to Rédion and Eau Rouge together. What will the outcome be? They are side by side. What a maneuver, what a battle this is, but it is Vermeulen who takes victory in this battle. Reg Parnell is still close. Will Reg Parnell be able to overtake Staf Vermeulen, the Belgian driver, in his home race? They are coming up to, I don't know which corner is this, the left-hander. They are still side by side. What a battle this is. But Greg Parnell goes off-roading, which means that Staf Vermeulen has a breather now and has won this little battle between them. And now the chase for Alberto Ascari is on once more. I don't think Greg Parnell will be able to catch Vermeulen. This is the battle between Whitehead and Bonetto. Whitehead crashes heavily while chasing down Bonetto. I hope the driver is okay, but his car is totaled and Whitehead retires. We are now lap 11. Vermeulen is still chasing down Alberto Ascari, but Alberto Ascari seems to be going slow. They are going into Stavolo. Vermeulen sees his chance but has to take evasive maneuvers and he almost crashed into Ascari. But luckily Staf Vermeulen can keep going on, but he is furious in his car and now he really wants to take down Alberto Ascari. He wants to overtake the Italian driver. Will he be able to do so? We are now following Greg Parnell on lap 11. He goes through La Carriera, I believe, but his engine lets go! That's the second engine failure this race. This means that Greg Parnell is no longer on the podium. He has to retire. This is the end of lap 11 and Alberto Ascari seems to be going into the pits. Does he have some sort of issue with his car? Staf Vermeulen takes the lead and yes, Alberto Ascari retires. The crowd goes wild. Staf Vermeulen is leading the Belgian Grand Prix of 1951. It is lap 12. There are 6 to 7 laps still remaining. Will Vermeulen be able to keep it going? No engine failures. We don't know. He wants this win. Staf Vermeulen wants this for the Belgian crowd. He will do everything in his power in order to make the finish line. We are now on lap 14. Staf has maintained the lead. There is a 51-second gap to Luigi Villoresi. Staf turns into La Carrière but loses control of the car. He spins it and he almost spins it into a house. What a spin that is. It was a complete 360 spin for Staf Vermeulen. Luckily, no damage has been done and he can keep going. Damn. The adrenaline has been surging in his heart, in his body. This could have been the end of the race for him, but he can keep going. He wants to give this Belgian win to the Belgian fans. We are on the final lap of the 1951 Belgian Grand Prix. Staf has maintained the lead. This is the final time that he goes through the double left-hander of Blanchimont. Staf has remained cool. He has kept his cool in the car. The gap to Luigi Villoresi is 1 minute and 40 seconds. He goes through the final left-hander. He sees La Source in front of him. He brakes cautiously in order to not crash so that he can take victory at the 1951 Belgian Grand Prix. He powers out of La Source down to the finish line. He sees the checkered flag and Staf Vermeulen has won his home Grand Prix. He has won the 1951 Belgian Grand Prix. The Belgian crowd erupts in celebrations. We are following Luigi Villoresi around 1 minute and 40 seconds behind Staf Vermeulen. Also on the final lap, he rounds La Source. He has run La Source for the final time and Luigi Villoresi comes home in P2 on the podium. This is Harry Schell in P3, also on the final lap. He also rounds La Source for the final time and he storms his car all the way to a fantastic podium finish. He finishes in P3. Here are the official classified results of the 1951 Belgian Grand Prix. Vermeulen takes the win in 1 hour, 16 minutes, 16 seconds, .227, 18 laps finished. He also takes the fastest lap, so he takes 9 points home. Then in P2 we have Luigi Villoresi around 1 minute and 40 seconds behind, and then Harry Schell completes the podium in P3 around 4 minutes behind. He was almost lapped. Then the other point scorers are Walker and Swaters. Both a lap down, and Swaters completes the Belgian party because he scores points in the 1951 Belgian Grand Prix. Then 2 laps down we have Shaw Taylor. Then we have all the non-finishers: Meres, Bonetto, Parnell, Ascari, Pilet, Whitehead, Etancelin, Gonzalez, Fischer, Simon, Farina, Godia, Fagioli, Taruffi, Chiron, Gordini, Gerard, Chabot, De Graffenried, Roll, Fangeux, Rosier, Levesque, Cabantou, Sanesi, and Manzon. And these are the standings after the 1951 Belgian Grand Prix. Vermeulen takes a commanding lead with 19 eligible points scored for this season already. Then in P2 we have Louis Chiron with only 8 points, and Villoresi also has 8 points. Then we have Shell with 7 points, then Roll with 6, Fischer also has 6, then Taruffi and Parnell both 4 points, Abecassis and Walker scored 3 points each, and then Swaters takes 2 points with his points-paying finish this race. The Belgian crowd erupted when Staf secured the 4th pole position of his Formula 1 career. The Belgian driver was delighted with the result. Starting from the front gave him the perfect opportunity to turn his speed into victory. Once again, he had outdriven the T26 CDA. The following day, Marie arrived at Spa-Francorchamps. She wanted to watch her husband race once more. Staf was surprised by her appearance, but grateful. Sebastian remained with Staf's parents. At only 1 year old, he was still far too young for a Grand Prix paddock. When race day arrived, all eyes were on the Belgian drivers, Swaters, Pilet, and Vermeulen. 3 homegrown talent, with one of them sitting on pole position. Then disaster struck. Staf completely missed his start. By the time the field had climbed through Eau Rouge and headed into the Ardennes forest, he had fallen all the way to 20th place. When Marie saw someone else pass the starting line first, her heart sank. The race had barely begun and her husband had already lost the lead. But what followed would become one of the greatest drives of Staf's career. The gearing modifications he had made to the aging Talbot Lago paid dividends on Spa's long straights. While his rivals were quicker through the corners, Staf's superior top speed allowed him to sweep past them one after another. Lap after lap, he fought his way through the field. 20th became 15th, 15th became 10th, 10th became 5th, and still he kept going. From the grandstand, the Belgian fans roared every time their countryman appeared. Marie could scarcely believe what she was witnessing as Staf relentlessly climbed the order. Then fortune smiled upon him. Race leader Alberto Ascari suddenly peeled into the pits with gearbox trouble. The Ferrari was out of contention. The lead now belonged to Staf Vermeulen. And once in front, he never looked back. As the checkered flag fell, the grandstands erupted. Staf Vermeulen had won his home Grand Prix. For the Belgian fans, it was a day to remember. Not only had Vermeulen taken victory, but fellow Belgian Swaters also finished in the points. Back in the pits, emotion overflowed. Staf embraced Johnny Claes before sharing a passionate kiss with Marie. It was his 3rd Formula 1 victory, his 2nd in a row, and a piece of history. No driver before him had won back-to-back Formula 1 races. To make matters even better, Staf also claimed the fastest lap. 9 points were added to his championship tally, extending his lead at the top of the standings. The celebrations continued long into the evening. Yet amidst the joy, Staf knew the season was far from over. The championship battle still had many twists to offer. And next came France, the very circuit where 1 year earlier he had taken his first astonishing Grand Prix victory.